honey, sometimes a memory don't knock. Sometimes it just walks right in and sits heavy on your chest like it owns the place. I remember the moment like it was yesterday, even though my bones tell me it's been a lifetime ago. I was standing in a kitchen in a big old river house down in western Missouri, sunlight slanting through lace curtains, dust floating in the air like tiny ghosts. I turned toward the window to wipe my hands on my apron, and I saw my face looking back at me. But it wasn't me. It was another girl. Same eyes, same mouth, same little scar under the chin, same way the left eyebrow curved when confused. For a second, I swear my heart forgot how to beat. Now, I was just a young white girl back then, barely 20, full of plans, full of dreams, thinking life was going to go the way I'd imagined. I believed in family names, bloodlines, traditions. Big houses meant safety. Respectability meant goodness. All that pretty stuff folks like to believe. But that day taught me something real quick. Pretty don't mean pure. Quiet don't mean clean. And blood don't always live where people say it does. Her name was Leela Grace. She worked in the house. Not worked like a job, worked like always there, never seen. The kind of presence that blends into walls. The kind of girl people look through, not at. We'd passed each other 1,000 times before that day. Hallways, back steps, kitchen doors. Always polite, always distant, always quiet. But that reflection changed everything. Because when our eyes met through that glass, she flinched. Not surprise, recognition. Like she already knew what I was just learning. And baby, that's when fear hits different. Not loud, not screaming, just cold. I didn't say a word. She didn't either. But something ancient woke up inside my chest, a feeling that whispered, that girl ain't just a stranger in your house. Now let me tell you about that house. Big place, old money, old stories, old lies. White columns out front, long gravel drive, family portraits lining the walls like judges watching you breathe. The kind of home where silence had rules and questions had consequences. My daddy, Walter Hawthorne, ran that place like a business and a kingdom at the same time. Calm voice, hard decisions. A man who believed control was love if you dressed it up right. My mama, Evelyn, ran it like a church. Clean, proper, cold. Everything had its place, and feelings weren't on the list. My younger brother Caleb was being raised to inherit everything. And me? I was being raised to belong to someone else's last name. And Leela? She didn't belong to any of it, except she did. That's the part nobody wanted to say. I started noticing things after that day. How she was never scheduled in the same rooms as my daddy. How she was always reassigned when guests came over. How she never appeared in photos. How my mama stiffened when she entered a room. How my daddy never once looked her in the eye. That kind of avoiding, that ain't random. That's fear with manners. One evening I passed her on the back staircase. Just us. Quiet. Still. She whispered, "Miss Ruth, I'm sorry." "For what?" I asked. She glanced down the hall. For existing in the wrong place. That wasn't about the hallway, and we both knew it. I wanted to ask. I wanted to say it. I wanted to speak the thing my bones already knew. But fear teaches silence better than any teacher ever could. So I walked past her. And that night, I stood in front of my mirror and stared at my own face for a long time. Then I whispered out loud to no one, "Who are you really?" And somewhere in that house, a truth was breathing, waiting, patient. Because secrets don't disappear, baby. They just wait for the right heart to break 'em open.
Now, sugar, let me tell you something about old houses. They don't just hold furniture. They hold stories. They hold secrets. They hold guilt in the walls and truth in the floorboards. That Hawthorne house knew things long before I did. After that day at the window, I started paying attention in a way I never had before. Not nosy, not dramatic, just awake. I noticed how Leela was always working the back halls, never the front rooms, always the service stairs, never the main staircase, always the kitchen, never the parlor, always the shadows, never the light. And it wasn't just coincidence, it was control. My mama controlled that house like a chessboard, every move planned, every placement intentional, every face in the right room. When guests came, Leela disappeared. When family photos were taken, Leela was reassigned. When holidays happened, Leela worked the far wing. Like the house itself was being rearranged to hide a reflection. I asked our housekeeper, Miss Nadine, one day, real casual-like, "Why is Leela always working the backside of the house?" She froze, not confused, not thinking, frozen. Then she said, real soft, real quick, "Some folks don't belong in certain rooms, honey." That answer told me everything and nothing at the same time. See, grown folks lie in patterns, kids lie in panic, but adults in power lie in systems, structures, habits, routines. This wasn't a secret, it was a system, and systems take effort. One night, I found an old photo album in the attic, dust thick as shame, leather cracked with age, pictures of the Hawthorne family going back generations. Same eyes, same jawlines, same cheekbones, over and over again. And then I saw it, a face in the background of an old photo, blurry, half cut off, standing near the back porch. A young girl, dark hair, light eyes, same face, same face. No name written, no label, just there, like a ghost the family forgot to erase. That's when my stomach dropped, because coincidence don't repeat like that. Blood does. And the scariest part, nobody ever told me anything, which meant everybody knew something. There's a difference. One afternoon, I caught my daddy in the study. "Daddy," I said real soft, "does Leela got family?" He didn't look up from his papers. "She's staff, Ruth." "That ain't what I asked." He paused just a second. "She came with the property records." That sentence didn't even make sense. People don't come with property records. Things do. That's when I realized something real ugly. She wasn't just hidden. She was filed, cataloged, managed, like an inconvenience that needed organizing, like a problem that needed placement, like a truth that needed a system built around it. Later that week, I passed Leela in the laundry room, steam in the air, heat heavy, nobody else around. I finally said it. "You look like me." Her hand shook. She didn't deny it, didn't argue, didn't act confused. She just whispered, "I know." That word hit harder than any confession ever could. "I've been knowing," she added, "since I was little." My voice broke. "What knowing?" She swallowed. "That we're connected." That's all she said. Not how, not why, not who, just that. Connected. Some words carry whole worlds in 'em, and that one carried a storm, because once you hear it, you start hearing everything different. The silence gets louder, the rules get clearer, the fear gets heavier, and the question starts growing inside you like a heartbeat. What are they hiding, and why does it look like me? Now, baby, life got a funny way of answering questions when you ain't ready for the truth. Sometimes it don't come with words. Sometimes it comes with pain. A few weeks after that laundry room moment, I got sick. Not flu sick, not tired sick, not drink some soup and lay down sick. I mean deep sick. Body failing sick, soul leaving sick. It started with dizziness, then weakness, then this heaviness in my chest like my lungs forgot how to work. One minute I was walking through the hallway, next minute the world folded. I remember my mama scream, my daddy's voice calling my name, the ceiling spinning, the lights blurring, then darkness. I drifted in and out for days. Dreams and reality got mixed up. Faces blurred together. Voices floated like echoes underwater. But I remember one thing clear as Sunday morning. A hand on my arm. Not rough, not rushed, steady. A voice, soft, Lila's voice. "Stay with me, Ruth," she whispered. Not Miss Ruth, not ma'am, not polite, just Ruth, like she had a right to my name, like it belonged in her mouth. Doctors came and went, whispers filled rooms. My mama cried quietly. My daddy went silent in that scary way men do when they're losing control. They said my blood wasn't clotting right, said I was losing it too fast, said they didn't understand why. Medicine didn't work, nothing worked. And then something happened that nobody wanted to talk about later. I remember a sting in my arm, pressure, cold, then warmth, flow, like something leaving one body and entering another. I was half conscious, floating between here and gone, but I saw her face, pale, focused, calm, Lila. And I heard my daddy say real low, "Do it." That word alone, do it. Not a question, not a discussion, a command. Later, after I lived, because I did live, I found out the truth. Her blood saved my life. Not medicine, not doctors, not chance. Her blood. Not coincidence, compatibility, shared bloodline, family blood. But nobody told me. They buried it, like everything else. When I woke up fully, my mama was beside me, eyes red, face tight with that controlled relief she always had. "You safe now," she said. I asked one thing. "Where's Lila?" Her face changed. "She's been reassigned." Of course she was. Moved, hidden, repositioned, like a secret after it's used, like a truth after it saves you. I healed fast, strong, too fast. Doctors were confused, but my body knew something my mind didn't understand yet. Blood remembers blood, even when families pretend it don't. Weeks later, I saw Lila in the back corridor. She looked tired, weaker, but calm. I whispered, "You saved me." She shook her head. "I saved family." That word hit me harder than the sickness ever did. Family. I grabbed her wrist. "Say it." She looked straight into my eyes, and for the first time she didn't whisper, didn't soften it, didn't hide it. She said, "We share blood, Ruth." My knees went weak. The world tilted. The house felt fake. The walls felt thin. The lies felt loud. She didn't cry, didn't dramatize, didn't beg. She just said it like truth always sounds when it's tired of hiding. Simple, heavy, final. And in that moment, I understood something deep and dangerous. This house wasn't built on money. It was built on silence. And my life, it was saved by a truth my family refused to name. And baby, once blood speaks, nothing stays buried for long.
Now listen to me, sweetheart. Once you know something like that, you don't go back. You don't sleep the same. You don't breathe the same. You don't see the world the same. Every hallway in that house started feeling narrow. Every room felt like it was listening. Every silence felt loud, because now I knew. And worse, I knew they knew. That's the part that changes everything. See, secrets hurt, but shared secrets control. I started watching my parents different. My daddy stopped speaking when Leela entered rooms. My mama got colder, sharper, meaner. Rules tightened. Movements got restricted. Staff rotations changed. It wasn't chaos. It was management, damage control, containment. Leela got moved from light work to heavy work, laundry, storage rooms, basement duty, long hours, little rest, punishment without explanation. I confronted my mama one night, straight up. Why do you hate her? She didn't even blink. I don't hate her. That was a lie. I resent what she represents. That one was truth. What does she represent? I asked. She looked at me like I was stupid. Mistakes. That word told me everything. Not sin, not injustice, not cruelty. Mistakes. Like Leela was an error in paperwork, like her existence was a clerical problem. That's how powerful people think, not in morals, in messes. I went to my daddy. Why won't you look at her? He didn't answer. Why did you take her blood if she's not family? That got a reaction. He slammed his hand on the desk. Don't you ever say that again. Why? Because you can't unring a bell. He looked at me with fear for the first time in my life. Not anger, fear. And fear tells the truth better than words. Some lines aren't meant to be crossed, he said. Who drew them? I asked. Silence. That silence was confession. After that, the house changed. Not loud, not dramatic, just colder. Dinner got quieter. Laughter disappeared. Music stopped. Guests stopped coming. The air felt heavy like a storm that never breaks. And Leela, she stopped meeting my eyes. Not because she was scared of me, because she was scared for me. One night she pulled me aside. Stop asking, she whispered. They'll hurt you. They already are, I said. They'll hurt me worse, she said, and they'll make it your fault. That's the kind of love nobody teaches you about, the kind that protects by pushing away, the kind that hides truth to keep someone safe. That's when I realized something painful. She'd been protecting me my whole life by staying invisible, by staying quiet, by staying small, by staying hidden, so I could stay free, so I could keep my name clean, my future clean, my life easy. And that broke my heart more than any lie ever could, because love don't always look like closeness. Sometimes it looks like distance and sacrifice and silence. But silence was killing both of us, and I wasn't built to live quiet anymore. That's when I made my decision. Not loud, not reckless, not emotional, strategic. I started collecting proof, old records, medical logs, transfer notes, birth documents, house assignments, reassignments, financial entries,
Patterns, connections, history. Truth leaves fingerprints. You just got to know how to look. And the more I found, the clearer it became. This wasn't one man's mistake. This was a family system, generational, intentional, designed. And the worst part, I wasn't supposed to survive. If her blood hadn't saved me, the secret would have stayed safe. But blood chose truth, and now truth had a heartbeat. And baby, when truth gets a heartbeat, it starts walking.
Now, honey, every secret got a breaking point. Not a moment, not a scream, not a scandal, just a quiet crack, and then everything falls through it. For me, it happened in the old pantry room. Late night, rain on the windows, house asleep. Lila was folding sheets, hands slow, shoulders tired. That girl carried exhaustion like it was stitched into her bones. I stood there for a long time before she noticed me. She jumped when she did. "Ruth," she whispered, "you shouldn't be here." "I know," I said, "but neither should this." I pulled out the papers, birth logs, medical records, old house records, reassignment notes, the transfusion record, all of it. Her face went pale. "Where'd you get those?" "Same place they hid 'em," I said, "in plain sight." She sank into a chair. Didn't cry, didn't panic, just tired, like a woman who's carried truth alone too long. "They were never supposed to see this," she said, "but I did." She looked at me, really looked at me, and then she said the sentence that changed my life. They weren't protecting themselves from shame. I leaned in. They were protecting themselves from accountability. Silence, heavy, real. I whispered, "Say it." She closed her eyes. "Our father was your father." My chest went hollow. Not shock, not surprise, confirmation, the kind that feels like recognition. "He knew," she continued. "Mama knew, Nadine knew, everybody older than us knew." My voice shook. "So they made you what?" "Invisible," she said. "Managed, quiet, useful, safe to keep, dangerous to claim." I sat down hard. "This whole house was built to hide me," she finished. Then she said something worse. "They didn't save you because they loved you." My head snapped up. "They saved you because they needed you alive." Silence again. "They couldn't afford a death," she said. "Too many questions, too much attention, too much risk." That truth hurt in a different place, because it meant my life wasn't mercy, it was management. And her blood wasn't kindness, it was necessity. I started crying. Not pretty crying, not soft crying, ugly crying. The kind that comes from betrayal, grief, and identity collapse all at once. She stood up and hugged me. Not like staff, not like servant, not like stranger. Like family, like blood, like truth. "I didn't want this for you," she whispered. "I wanted you to live free." "I'm not free," I said into her shoulder. "Not if you're trapped." That's when she pulled back and looked at me real serious. "You think truth automatically brings freedom," she said. "Sometimes it just brings danger." "I don't care," I said. "I won't live in a house built on you." She shook her head. "You don't understand power." "Teach me," I said. She stared at me, long. Then she said quietly, "If you do this wrong, they'll destroy you." "Then I'll do it right," I said. And that was the moment, the exact moment, where I stopped being a daughter in that house and became a problem. Because once a system knows you see it, you're not family anymore. You're a threat. And baby, they treat threats different.
Now listen close, sugar. There's a moment in every real story where you stop being invisible. Not famous, not loud, not powerful, just seen. And once power sees you, you ain't a person anymore. You're a problem. The next morning, everything changed. Not loud, not dramatic, not chaotic. Cold, controlled, calculated. My mama stopped speaking to me unless necessary. My daddy started watching me. Rooms got restricted, doors started locking, staff got reassigned, and Lila, they moved her again, further back, deeper in the house, heavier work, longer hours. Punishment without bruises. That's how rich folks hurt people. Clean, professional, legal. They didn't confront me. They didn't argue. They didn't deny. Because denial is for weak liars. They isolated. They controlled. They waited. That's what systems do. One night my daddy called me into his study. Calm voice, soft tone, dangerous energy. "Sit down, Ruth." I didn't. "I know what you're doing," he said. "I know what you're looking for." "Then say it," I replied. He sighed like a tired king. "You don't understand what you're playing with." "Then explain it." He stood up. "You think truth is a weapon," he said. "Truth is a liability." I said, "So is silence." He looked at me like I'd betrayed him. "No," he said, "you're betraying the family." And that's when I understood something real clear. To people like him, family ain't blood. It's obedience, it's image, it's protection of power. I said, if family requires lying about blood, then it ain't family. That was the wrong sentence. He stepped closer, voice low. "You will drop this." "Or what?" His face hardened. "You will lose everything. Friends, future, name, protection, status, access, safety, all of it. Not violently, not loudly, quietly. Social death, system death, respectable destruction." I looked at him and said, "Then I guess I'll see who I am without your name." He slapped the desk. The sound cracked through the room. "You think you're brave," he said. "You're naive." "Maybe," I said, "but I'm not blind." He stared at me like I wasn't his daughter anymore, because I wasn't. I was a liability now. I was risk. I was exposure. I was truth. That night, Lila found me in the back hallway. "They're watching you," she whispered. "I know." "They're moving me again," she said. "They're going to send me off property." "Sell you?" I asked. "Worse," she said. "Disperse me." That's a word they use when they don't want connections. Scatter, break bonds, erase patterns, remove resemblance, hide evidence. "They're trying to erase you," I said. She shook her head. "They're trying to protect you from becoming me." That sentence hurt worse than anything else, because it meant she'd already accepted her place, and I hadn't. "I won't let them," I said. She grabbed my hands. "Ruth," she whispered, "you can't fight a system head on. It'll crush you." "Then we go around it," I said. "How?" I looked at her and said the scariest thing in the world. "We document. Records, proof, paper, history, witness, law. Not noise, not scandal, not chaos. Truth in permanent ink. Because systems fear one thing more than rebellion: documentation. Because memory can be denied, but records don't forget. And that's when I started my real work, not as a daughter, not as a rebel, not as a girl, but as a woman building evidence. And baby, Once you start writing the truth down, you stop being easy to erase.
Oh, sweetheart, let Grandma tell you something real simple. People think noise changes the world. It don't. Records do. Names, dates, signatures, ink, witnesses. That's what scares power. Not anger, not crying, not rebellion. Receipts. So I went quiet. Not scared quiet, focused quiet. I started copying everything. Old birth records from the county office, house employment logs, medical documents from the local clinic, transfer orders, work assignments, payroll entries, storage receipts, property records. Little things, boring things, deadly things. Patterns started forming. Dates matched, movements aligned, transfers made sense, reassignments followed moments of risk. Leela wasn't random, she was managed. Her existence was controlled like inventory. And the resemblance? It was never addressed, only avoided. That's how lies survive, through avoidance, not argument. One afternoon, I took a train to a nearby town alone. Didn't tell anyone, didn't announce it, just went. Found a retired clerk named Mrs. Harper, old, sharp, bored, and honest in that way old women get when they stop caring who gets mad. I asked about old Hawthorne records. She raised an eyebrow. Honey, that family's been filing paperwork here since the Civil War. She pulled ledgers, dusty, cracked, yellowed, and there it was, a sealed birth record, no father listed, mother's name recorded, date matching Leela's birth, then a separate ledger entry months later, property reassignment, household integration, internal labor transfer. 2 records that should have been one, split, on purpose. That's when I knew. They didn't just hide her, they engineered her invisibility. I copied everything, paid cash, thanked her, left. And when I got home, I found Leela waiting for me in the back hall. You went digging, she said. Yeah, they'll know. Good. She looked scared, not for herself, for me. You're building something dangerous, she whispered. I'm building something permanent, I said. She shook her head. Truth don't always free people, but it does make liars nervous. And baby, they were getting nervous. My mama started intercepting my mail. My daddy started restricting my movement. Friends stopped calling. Invitations dried up. Whispers started. Not loud gossip, quiet distancing. That kind of social suffocation that rich families do best. Isolation, control, reputation management. And then one night, I heard my daddy on the phone. Low voice, serious tone. We need to move her. Not me, Leela. She's a risk now. That word again, risk. Human beings reduced to liabilities, assets, threats, problems. I ran to Leela. They're planning to remove you. She nodded. I know. Where? Anywhere I disappear. That's when it hit me. They weren't trying to punish her anymore. They were trying to erase her. Not emotionally, logistically, geographically, systematically. Distance kills resemblance. Separation kills proof. Time kills memory. And that's when I realized something terrifying. If they moved her, the truth died with her. So I made the call, not to police, not to press, not to family, to someone who understood systems, a lawyer, not a flashy one, not a loud one, a quiet one, old, careful, ethical, named Mr. Larkin. He listened, didn't interrupt, didn't react, didn't judge. When he finished, he said, "You don't need a lawsuit. What do I need? A record. What kind? The kind that can't be destroyed without effort. What does that mean?" He said one sentence that changed everything. Courts forget cases. Archives don't forget documents. That's when the plan changed. Not exposure, not war, not chaos. Legacy, history, permanent truth.
Because you don't beat systems in headlines, you beat them in history books. And baby, I was done being quiet. Now, sugar, here's a hard truth most folks never learn. Power don't ask permission, so neither should truth. Once Mr. Larkin said those words, archives don't forget documents, something clicked in me real deep. I stopped thinking like a daughter, stopped thinking like a girl, stopped thinking like someone who needed approval. I started thinking like history, because history don't care about feelings, it cares about proof. I started building a file, not one folder, not one envelope, multiple, copies, redundancy, safety. If one disappeared, others stayed. If one burned, others survived. If one got buried, others lived. Lila watched me do it in silence, not encouraging, not stopping me, just witnessing, like she knew something I didn't yet. "You're changing your life," she said one night. "I already lost it. I'm just choosing what replaces it." She nodded slowly. "They'll come for you." "I know." "They'll try to make you look unstable." "I know." "They'll isolate you." "They already are." She looked at me long and said, "You not built for silence." And baby, she was right. Some folks are made to survive systems. Some folks are made to break them, and I was done pretending I belonged in a lie. We met with Mr. Larkin in secret, late evenings, back office, no names on doors, no records in appointment books. He explained everything slow and careful. "What you're doing," he said, "is not about justice, it's about memory." "Explain." Justice requires courts, memory requires paper. He helped me prepare sworn statements, affidavits, medical records, witness confirmations, employment documentation, birth documentation, chain of custody, timeline reconstruction, all of it. Legal language, permanent language, language that lives in vaults, language that gets indexed, cataloged, archived. And then he said something that made my stomach turn. "Once this is filed, your family will know." Good. "You'll lose protection." I don't want it. "You'll lose status." I never earned it. "You'll lose inheritance." I don't need blood money. "You'll lose safety nets." I'll build new ones. He stared at me for a long time, then said, "You remind me of women history pretends were quiet." That's the highest compliment I ever got. We filed the first record quietly. County archive, sealed record, restricted access, permanent storage. Then another in the medical archive, then another in the legal vault. Different buildings, different jurisdictions, different systems, distributed truth. That's how you protect memory. Lila signed nothing. Her choice, her safety, her protection. I was the name on the paper, the risk, the liability, the visible target, and I accepted it because I could survive exposure. She couldn't. That's how love works sometimes. Not equal sacrifice, strategic sacrifice. Then the pressure started, hard. My mama accused me of mental instability. My daddy accused me of betrayal. Staff stopped talking to me. Friends avoided me. Church members distanced themselves. I became that girl, the problem daughter, the difficult one, the ungrateful one, the unstable one. Reputation assassination, classic move. When you can't disprove truth, you discredit the speaker. But something else started happening too. Staff started looking at me different. Not fear, not distance, respect, quiet respect. Because people always know who's telling the truth. They just wait to see who's brave enough to stand on it. Then one night, Lila came to my room shaking. "They're selling me." My heart dropped. "When?" 2 days. "Where?" No idea. And that's when fear turned into action, because once they moved her, the story lost its heartbeat. Once she disappeared, the truth became theory, and theory is easy to deny. I grabbed her hands and said, "They're not selling you." She looked. "How you gonna stop it?" And I said the scariest, bravest, dumbest, truest sentence of my life: "By making you unmovable." She stared. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said, "we stop letting them control the narrative." And that's when the plan changed. Not just documentation, not just archives, not just records, but relocation, protection, extraction, escape. Not dramatic, not cinematic, not loud, quiet, legal, strategic, permanent. Because sometimes freedom don't come from fighting, it comes from leaving. And baby, we were done waiting.
Now, baby, come sit a little closer. Grandma's gonna finish this one gentle. Because not every ending is loud. Some endings just feel like air for the first time. We didn't fight them. We didn't expose them. We didn't make noise. We left. Quietly. Legally. Clean. Mr. Larkin handled the paperwork, a transfer of employment, a relocation contract, a sponsored placement, a name change option, a new county, a new start. Not a rescue, a release. Not drama, a door. 2 mornings later, Leela was gone. No scene, no shouting, no goodbyes in the driveway, no tears in public, just a suitcase, a car, a future. She hugged me before she left, not long, not dramatic, just close, and she whispered, "You didn't save me, you just stopped the lie." And baby, that was enough. After that, the house collapsed slowly, not physically, emotionally, spiritually, socially. My daddy drank himself into silence. My mama retreated into religion and control. My brother grew distant from the name. And me, I left too. Different city, different life, different name on my mailbox. But I kept the records, the files, the archives, the truth. Years passed. Letters came from a different state, from a different name, from a woman building a life that belonged to her. She married, had kids, built a home, learned to live without fear, without hiding, without being managed, without being erased. And me, I lived quiet, not bitter, not angry, just honest, because once you see truth, you don't need revenge, you need peace. Sometimes family isn't who raised you. Sometimes family is who shares your blood. Sometimes family is who shares your courage. Sometimes family is who shares your truth. And sometimes family is the one who walks away so both of you can live. Now here's the part I want you to hear real clear, sweetheart. Blood don't make people good. Money don't make people clean. Silence don't make people innocent. And tradition don't make lies holy. Truth ain't always loud. Sometimes it's just one woman saying, "No more." No more hiding, no more managing, no more pretending, no more erasing, no more silence. And if this story touched you, if it stirred something in your chest, if it made you think about your own family, your own silence, your own truths, then don't ignore that feeling, because feelings like that don't come for entertainment, they come for awakening. And baby, sometimes the bravest thing you'll ever do is tell the truth and walk away quietly. If this story moved you, if it made you feel something deep, if it stayed in your chest longer than it should, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because stories don't change the world,
people who carry them do. And if you're still listening, then maybe this story was for you.